Honda advises oil changes are done at 9,000 miles or every 12 months, though in arduous conditions lower this to 6,000 miles or 6 months. Step 1. Warm up the engine. Now that the engine is hot and the oil nicely thinned and runny, we can take the car into the garage for the oil change. Take your time though on this bit, as although we needed the engine oil thinned, it's going to be dangerously hot at over 80 degrees centigrade, so let things cool for a few minutes. Other than a trolley jack and axle stands, you'll need the following for the Honda HRV. At least 3.3 litres of fresh engine oil, a new oil filter and filter remover tool, a 14mm socket and breaker bar or ratchet, torque wrench at 39 Newton meters for the sump plug, gloves and an oil catch pan. Here I'm using Halfords 5W30 fully synthetic oil, a Halfords HOF289 oil filter, oil filter removing tool. This is the cup type, a breaker bar, another mini breaker bar for the sump plug with a 14mm socket, a ratchet just in case for the sump, and a torque wrench set to 39 Newton meters, again for the sump plug. Some gloves, as used engine oil can be carcinogenic, and an oil catch pan. Now to jack the HRV up. Honda have moulded little arrows just behind the front wheels on the seals. I have painted the arrows white to help show them. Here's one of the arrows. I'm jacking the offside up first, and then I'll pop round and jack the near side up and keep doing that until the car's at the height that I need and is level. It's very important you don't get under a car that's just supported by jacks alone. You must use axle stands. Honda have actually marked the engine oil drain plug. Labelled here. The oil filter is harder to reach. It's up on the back of the block. Using a 14mm socket to undo the sump plug and then drain the oil. I noticed that I had an aftermarket magnetic drain plug. There's mixed views on these. Some say they don't actually do anything because most of the metal inside that wears isn't metallic. Since I have it, I will use it, but I will have to watch the torque settings on this, because this would be like 20 Newton meters, and if I did it to 39 Newton meters, chances are it would snap in the sump. I guess being magnetic, you can stick it to the underside of the car so you don't lose the plug. Replace the drain plug and tighten to 39 Newton meters with a torque wrench. You should also replace the copper washer with a new one. Since I found an aftermarket magnetic aluminium drain plug, I had to torque this to only 20 Newton meters, as the original would have been made of steel. Please don't adjust your eyes. I did make a mistake with the focus. Removing the old oil filter. It's not in an easy location and is up on the engine block. The cap type tool I had didn't fit the fitted filter, so I used a Facom C48-1 as they self-lock onto the filter without falling off. This leaves your hands free to apply the ratchet or breaker bar. Here is the Facom oil filter tool. You put it open and then it locks, and then when you press the centre part on to the filter, the jaws spring back in and lock onto the filter. Remember to check that the rubber seal has come away with the old oil filter. We'll show you how the Facom C48-1 works, but first, the removed filter was a MAN W610/6, which has both a bypass valve and an anti-drain back valve. The bypass valve ensures oil can still be delivered around the engine if the filter gets blocked up. The anti-drain back valve ensures that when the engine is turned off, oil still remains in the filter, so the next time you start the engine isn't starved of oil while the filter fills up again. So if I reset the jaws on the Facom and remove the filter, and then reset the jaws open again, and then whack it onto the filter, the jaws just lock on. It's a good filter removing tool, that one. Installing the new oil filter. Check before installing the new filter that the rubber seal is still present on the old filter and isn't still stuck in place on the back of the engine. If you accidentally double gasket the oil filter by leaving the old seal in place, the oil could leak out and could cause engine failure. Remember to apply oil to the rubber seal on the new filter. Sometimes it's a good idea to measure how much oil came out from the engine. You don't want to accidentally overfill with oil, as this can possibly cause foaming where the crankshaft mixes air into the oil, which the oil pump can't pump, so starving the engine of oil. In this instance, the HRV was about 3/4 of a litre too low. If you pre-measure the oil before putting it back into the engine, at least you know then exactly how much oil's gone in without guessing. Remove the filler cap. Being where the oil filler is, I suggest a large funnel to avoid getting oil all over the engine. Don't forget to replace the engine oil filler cap. Start the engine so the oil pump can fill the new oil filter with oil, so an accurate dipstick measurement can be taken. Also check the oil pressure light on the instrument panel goes out. Then turn off the engine and let it sit for a few minutes so that the oil can drain back. After a quick cuppa, check the oil level with the dipstick. Don't forget to wipe clean the dipstick first so that an accurate measurement can be taken. Note the maximum and minimum marks on the dipstick. I then like to record the mileage as part of the car's service history. Thank you for watching and hope this helped some people out. Might open up that oil filter next time.